Some more welcome in, my guys. Former All-American tight end Adam Breneman and CBS Sports college football insider Richard Johnson. Good to be back with you guys. Happy college football is back. We are here week one. College football is so back. And I love this because now we can have some overreactions. Maybe we can just be all like, hey, that team is a bust. This player is a bust. But let's talk about it. They're going to break down their winners and losers. Let's start with Ohio State's defense, a big winner over Arch Manning, the Longhorns, Adam.
Yeah, Ohio State looked really good in this game on defense. I love what they did. The multiple looks on defense, the simulated pressures, the zone coverage disguising to Arch Manning and force him into really a bad game early on for Arch. I mean, this was a defense that had question marks coming into this season with how much they lost, but Matt Patricia stepped up big time and used that formula he's had in the NFL for a long time to really shut down Arch Manning.
He really gave them tough looks, Arch Manning, some special looks there. Matt Patricia was dialing up a Sunday NFL blitz there.
A big credit to Matt Patricia, to be quite honest with you. Matt Patricia's much maligned. Failure in Detroit with the Lions. Failure in the second stint with New England, whatever they were calling the offensive coordinator thing that he did last year. Failure in Philly as a defensive assistant. But he came into this game with Ohio State's talent, and they played a game plan that limited Arch Manning. Arch Manning is a big game hunter. He's a guy who wants to go deep. And they said, we're going to play split safety looks, two safeties deep, and we're going to make you matriculate the ball down the field all afternoon, and Texas was unable to do it.
You know what the joke's going to be around this game is going to be, Arch Manning, he's a bust, ha-ha. That's what it's going to be, right? But he has time to develop. It's 3 weeks in a bye, Richard. Get him ready for Florida and then Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think if you're Sark and this Texas coaching staff, I think you go back to basics and you say, all right, what does he do well and what can make him comfortable? Steve Sarkisian said after the game that he regrets not running Arch earlier in the game, letting Arch kind of take a hit. I mean, you know what it's like when you're a player. It kind of helps you get into the flow of things to just get that first hit, especially in a situation like this where we've had 8 months of hype. It's a rabid road crowd. You know, you want to kind of get his juices flowing, and they were unable to do that. I think Sark also was a little tight with his play calling. Obviously not good in the red zone either with his play calling.
Yeah, let's not sugarcoat it. Steve Sarkisian did not call a very good game and didn't do his young quarterback any justice with how he called it. Didn't allow him to get loose. Arch Manning, when he's at his best, think about last season. It was when he was running the football himself and making plays with his legs. The reality is Arch Manning looked bad early on in this game. Sure. He looked rattled, 5 of 10 passing in the first 3 quarters. But then there was a silver lining. He started to look better. He made some completions down the field. We saw some really tight throws down the sideline. You saw the arm talent. The reality is he does have time to figure this thing out. Sarkisian can get better. But Arch Manning is going to have more eyeballs on him than anyone else in the country over the next few weeks. He has to improve, and he has to improve quickly.
I will say this throw right here to Jack Injuries in the fourth quarter made you sit up in your chair a little bit. Made you say, well, hold on a little bit.
Big boy throw.
It's in there.
It's there.
Also, he had the touchdown as well in the fourth quarter, the one touchdown that they did score. So, again, it's in there. They've got to get it out of him more.
Number 1 team in the nation goes down. The number 4 team in the nation goes down. Ranked on ranked at night. A battle of Tigers. 7th-ranked LSU clashing with 4th-ranked Clemson. The Tigers from LSU shut down the Tigers from Clemson in the second half, Adam. LSU's defense also a big winner. You saw Harold Perkins Jr. there at the end on a last play from Cade Klubnik and just absolutely rattled, and they're not able to win the game or complete a comeback at all.
Yeah, LSU's defensive line dominated this game against Clemson. There's just no other way to put it. Held Clemson to 1.5 yards per carry. That is the story of the game. That good rushing defense allowed LSU to then tee off on passing downs and bring the pressure with Harold Perkins, as we saw on that final 4th down right there to get the stop against Clemson. LSU was dominant up front. Blake Baker called a beautiful game, showing different pressures, then confusing Cade Klubnik, and then bringing some sim pressures off the edge.
And Brian Kelly, a big winner here because they finally snapped this streak of season-opening losses. It has been 5 in a row, 3 under Brian Kelly, so he finally gets a win.
Yes, Brian Kelly finally doesn't have to bang the table in the press conference tonight. Brian Kelly can smile during this press conference because they get off on the right foot. You mentioned what Blake Baker, LSU defensive coordinator, did up front. And I think because he was able to throw so many different things at Cade Klubnik, those DBs on the back end were able to play aggressive. Mansour Delane transfer in from Virginia Tech. He played a great game. Had an interception in the first half, had that pass breakup to get Clemson off of the field in the fourth quarter where he just played that slant. I mean, we were sitting there watching that play, and both of us were like, oh, well, they're running the slant here. Mansour Delane knew it too. He was sort of cheating inside on that route, and he gets the PBU there. I thought he played great.
It's a great point you make, because you can't do those things with Harold Perkins if you don't have the secondary that can hold up on the back end. It allows you to be extremely creative as a defensive coordinator when you know that your DBs, your corners, your safeties can play man-to-man, can hang up when the blitz doesn't quite get there, because you are taking a risk. And on that final drive, when Clemson had the football, most defenses will be playing off coverage right there, keep the ball in front of you. Blake Baker and LSU, they were selling out. Cover zero almost every single play, moving Harold Perkins around. It was really fun to watch.
LSU, a national championship contender. You ready to overreact here? Is this a team that can win it all, Richard?
I think they can absolutely at least challenge to win the SEC if they're going to play like that. That is a good Clemson football team that they just beat. And when you consider another SEC contender that they will face on November 8th, what that team, Alabama, did today, I think you have to put LSU right up with Georgia, and we saw what Texas did against Ohio State. So why wouldn't you put LSU up with Georgia and Texas in that tier of team? I see no reason not to if they're going to play like they did tonight.
Yeah, we saw what LSU's defense can do. Now, can Garrett Nussmeier be consistent throughout the stretch of the SEC? Can he avoid turning the football over? Can he make big throws down the field? That would be the question. I believe that he can. We've seen that time and time again. He's one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the country. LSU is a real title contender.
Yeah, plus 1,100, so LSU 11-1 to win the Natty. You mentioned Alabama upset in Tallahassee, but Florida State beats 8th-ranked Alabama. Back in June, Seminoles quarterback Tommy Castellanos was asked about Alabama. He said, they don't have Nick Saban to save them. He's right. I just don't see them stopping me. He was right. Richard, is the sky falling in Tuscaloosa right now?
Oh, absolutely. I think people are absolutely freaking out in Tuscaloosa right now about how this team looks. It's not just that you lost, it's how you look. I thought Alabama was pathetic today. To come into this game 2 touchdown favorites against this Florida State team, and to look at some points in time, quite frankly, not ready to play. Gus Malzahn had something for him today. Gus Malzahn, new offensive coordinator at Florida State, was in his bag. You consider the touchdown to Micah Danzy where they pull the blockers to the right, they bring him back to the left, and they just flip it to him, and he goes for the touchdown. Jalen Lucas for the 64-yard bomb down the right side. They motion him back into the formation right next to the quarterback, wheel him up down the sideline, throw the rock out to him for a massive play that they pay off a few plays later with a touchdown. Gus Malzahn was in his bag, and he made Alabama, I thought, look silly today. It looked like they were not ready for this matchup.
Well, he's certainly earning himself a look there with Florida State, because they were a 2-10 team last season. Now they are 1-0. So certainly Florida State, a big winner on Saturday in Week 1. Adam, give me your biggest winner overall here in Week 1.
Man, I'm going to give you Penn State.
Okay.
And
of course, you played at Penn State. So I'm good with that.
I'm
good with it.
going Penn State because they're a top few team in the country that had some question marks coming in. Can they live up to that hype of all the excitement around Drew Aller, the running backs, the new wide receivers? And I wanted to see, does Penn State have the firepower on offense to make a run in the Big Ten and play for the national title? We saw their 2 brand new wide receivers, Trevor Pena, Kyron Hudson. They both played extremely well. More receiver receptions in this game than Penn State's had in the last 3 seasons. I mean, they really showed they have that ability on offense. They played with a fast tempo. And of all the teams that had question marks, I think we got the most answers from Penn State.
No Tyler Warren on this team, no easy buttons in this offense that they were able to press last year. But Drew Aller found answers. Drew Aller also pushed the ball down the field. Look, I understand. It's just Nevada. You're not winning the national championship against Nevada. But I did think it needed to look exactly like it looked today. Get in and out, dominate them. James Franklin, what was James Franklin so mad about? You're up 35 points.
Delay of game at the end of the game.
Yeah, everything matters. Everything matters. Every single detail, he was giving it to the refs a little bit.
I'm with it. Your biggest winner is who?
My biggest winner has to be LSU.
Okay.
It has to be LSU to get over this mental hurdle. A loss here would not have doomed their season, but it would have absolutely amplified the chatter around LSU. Did they waste money in the transfer portal? Is Brian Kelly really the right guy for this job? Is Garrett Nussmeier really just overrated? One thing that we also haven't talked about this LSU team, they replaced 2 really, really good offensive tackles that went in the NFL draft, and they held up tonight. Clemson only sacked Garrett Nussmeier, I believe, one time tonight. They held up for Garrett Nussmeier. He dropped back, I believe it's 38 attempts tonight.
Yes.
So they were throwing the ball. TJ Parker, Will Helt, what Clemson has up front on defense is really, really strong, but they were not able to get to Garrett Nussmeier much tonight.
All right, as for your biggest loser, Adam, who disappointed you the most?
Yeah, it's got to be Clemson and Dabo Swinney.
Okay.
I mean, Clemson had so much excitement going into this season. You return Cade Klubnik, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and then to get out physicaled in game one at home against LSU, primetime television, it's not how you want to start the year. And for all the talk of how Dabo Swinney has built his roster around not taking transfers and then decides to take a couple transfers, and they looked pretty good, but Clemson had to find a way to win this game. They had to find a way to build on the excitement, and then to lose to an LSU team that was rebuilding in some spots and also has not won the first game of the season in 5 years, not a good start for Dabo Swinney.
Yeah, my big loser has to be Alabama. There's no way it cannot be Alabama. To me, all offseason, I was under the impression that Ryan Grubb was going to come into this Alabama team as offensive coordinator and bring the offense that we saw at Washington when Washington made that run to the national championship. Last year, they were forcing a square peg into a round hole with Jalen Milroe, and Ty Simpson was going to make things better. That's not what we saw today. That first drive was really nice when they take that march down the field. And the rest of it, not good. And Ryan Williams is hurt. Kalen DeBoer said after the game, Ryan Williams sustained a concussion. So you got problems on that offensive side of the ball. You're not getting Jam Miller back for a matter of weeks. The running back that they have, Ty Simpson's got to get better for Alabama, or this Alabama season, I think, could go south.
And the reality is it's not a talent issue for Alabama.
It never is.
There is as much talent on this Alabama roster as Nick Saban had. It's an issue of identity. It is who do they want to be on offense? Can they run the football? Are they going to be disciplined and not have 8 penalties in a game? Alabama has a lot more to figure out than just talent. And as we talked about, they better figure it out in the next couple of weeks because the leash isn't going to be very long.
So maybe Tommy Castellanos was right. They don't have Nick Saban to save them anymore.
He backed it up.
He did. I like that.
If you're going to talk, you better back it up.
You talk the talk. You better walk the walk. That's what our guys do each and every week here on CBS Sports HQ. Adam Breneman, Richard Johnson here with us on CBS Sports HQ. They are always winners. College football, so back. Check out the latest edition of College Football Insiders, hosted by a powerhouse team of reporters, including Richard Johnson. This show delivers the stories behind the headlines. College Football Insiders, download and follow today.